around this time, families head out to the pumpkin patch to pick out pumpkins. It used to be common to drive through a neighborhood and see tons of carved pumpkins on doorsteps. However, recently, there tend to be more painted pumpkins than carved pumpkins. I've been carving pumpkins ever since I was a little girl, and I've learned many skills in the process. After working in a daycare, I've experienced situations where children do not understand how to use simple skills. Most of you have children or may plan to have children in the future. I'm sure most of you have carved a pumpkin before. However, the pumpkin painting trend is becoming more and more popular. By letting your child carve a pumpkin, they will learn skills that they would not learn from painting a pumpkin. Pumpkin carving will benefit your child by using their planning skills, problem-solving skills, and helping them learn important safety lessons. Pumpkin painting is great for children who are old enough to handle sharp objects, but some parents aren't switching over to carving as their children get older. As I was doing some research, I came across the pediatric safety website, where they say that children under the age of 14 shouldn't do the actual cutting or carving. I was shocked and confused as I read this. I have memories of carving pumpkins from when I was in elementary school. I feel like 8 years old is a great age to start carving pumpkins with adult supervision. If you give your kid a pumpkin and some paint and say get creative, they're probably going to put some polka dots and stripes on it. That doesn't involve much planning. But if you let your child carve a pumpkin, their mind tends to explore the options more. For example, let's say they want to carve the Superman symbol into their pumpkin. If they go at it without planning, they'll probably end up with a big hole in the middle of their pumpkin. This is where their planning skills come into play. Sit down with them and help them understand that to have the S and the triangle stay in place, you have to leave parts of the pumpkin connecting to those parts. According to Oxford Dictionary, to plan is to decide on and make arrangements for in advance. Pumpkin carving is a great way to introduce this skill. If you were to have your child paint a pumpkin instead, they would not have the opportunity of learning this skill. Even if you do plan, things still may go wrong. Your child might accidentally cut a little bit too far and cause some of the pumpkin to fall off. This is where their problem-solving skills come into play. According to verywell.com, problem solving is one of the 6 most important life skills that parents should be teaching their children. You can give them options on how to fix a problem, maybe a toothpick or some glue. Your child might have a different way to go about it. They may see that their pumpkin looks more like a dog than the cat they are going for, so they decide to improvise. If you mess up while painting a pumpkin, it's easy to just wipe it away or paint over it. That doesn't involve much problem solving. This is why carving is more beneficial than painting. You obviously can't give your child carving tools and expect them to know how to handle them. It's important to go over safety skills before letting them carve. I understand that it may be difficult for some parents to trust their kid with the carving tools, but if you shelter your children from things for too long, they may be afraid to do things later in life because they never got the proper training as they were children. When I worked in a daycare, there were 5th graders that were afraid to use scissors because their parents never let them use them when they were little. I would hate if my child had to sit out of an activity just because they didn't know how to use a skill. Some safety tips for children carving pumpkins from safewise.com are to use small controlled motions, don't rush, choose a sturdy surface, and keep your hands and carving tools dry. Another tip from the Consumer Reports website is to use the right carving tools. There are pumpkin carving tools made specifically for children. Teaching your kid how to paint a pumpkin isn't going to teach them any safety skills, but pumpkin carving is a great way to introduce how to be careful when holding something sharp. Pumpkin carving will benefit your child by using their planning skills, problem-solving skills, and safety skills. If you take the easy route and continue painting as your children get older, they will not have the opportunity of learning the skills that they would learn from pumpkin carving. Although pumpkin carving can get very messy, your children will thank you for giving them the opportunity to learn these important skills.